Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Sometimes you really have nobody else to blame but yourself, and that's like the worst feeling. Like, I love to be able to pinpoint a problem on an outside source, right? Like, I love to be able to think, you know what? There's nothing I could have done. It wasn't in my control. Like, I would love to think that. That is the best feeling. When you're like, it's not on me, I didn't do it, right? Like you let yourself off the hook. You let yourself be in the clear. And guess what? I cannot do that. I did something so dumb last week, and it's making me just upset for no reason. And it's like, it doesn't impact anybody really and truly but myself. I was going through my computer and what's new? My storage is out, okay? I am constantly battling against having enough storage on my computer. I have been kicking things off to 2 separate terabytes. I was trying to clear some space out so that I could export a video. And while I was going through it, I was like, why do I have all of these like February videos? Because if you follow me on my personal YouTube page, I post vlogs, but I've taken a bit of a 3-week break. I went to Florida and I filmed a lot of content there. And I was halfway in between editing the vlog from the week before. And then when I came back, I had started yoga teacher training. And so I got overwhelmed. There was too much to do. And today I was like, okay, I'm feeling good. I need to go back and edit some of that footage. And as I was going through it, I realized I had deleted it. I deleted all of the footage, and I was halfway halfway done with an episode, or halfway done with like a vlog that I was going to put out. And as I was like looking through it, I was thinking, oh my gosh, like, where did this go? And it hit me. It was kind of like a That's So Raven moment where I was transported back to, I guess That's So Raven sees things in the future. I was the opposite. I saw in the past, okay, and I was like, I immediately notated the moment where I'd like trashed it. And I did think it was weird, like while I was going through my computer, I was like, oh, like this footage is from so long ago. I can delete it. I'm not sure why it's still on there. I've edited since then, and I trashed it. And I've been so distraught over this because not only did I trash it, I then emptied my bin because that is the only way to like completely like get rid of all the stuff on your computer. So not only had I trashed it, I emptied the trash, and there's no way to get that footage back. And when I opened up Premiere Pro, because that's the software I use to edit all my stuff, it had all of these like red alerts saying that I had like my footage was gone, and it's like couldn't locate the files. And I was like, you're kidding me. I deleted it all. And that just goes to show, do things complete, all in one take. Because for me, sometimes I'll like put a pin in it. I'll come back to it, okay? Like I'll get what I need done, and then I'll get distracted by another item. I'll be like, okay, like this is further enough. I can take like a little break, go work on something else, go do laundry, go for a run, hang out with my friends, right? Like we all get distracted doing different things. And I should have just like sat down, got all of the footage completed, because at like this point I was behind. And I'm starting afresh, I'm starting new. I'm not going to do things halfway, and I was following this rule so good. I can't start another video until I finish the other video, all the editing and uploading, even if it's just like waiting in the tank. And that has been like really hard for me to do, because I always think, oh, I'll do that in the future. I'll do that next time. I'll put that on my to-do list. And I need to be taking care of future Logan. I can't be putting all this pressure on her because she is buckling, okay? I have to take care of her. I have to do it in the present. And instead of waiting, oh, I'll do that next week, do it right now. Like, how can I carve out time? How can I, prepare her in the best way possible? How can I make sure that this project is complete so I can work on other projects? projects. And it really is like a building block. It's setting the foundation. It is putting the bricks down, because my concrete, my cement, if we're building a house or putting brick by brick, it's crumbling. Okay, I don't know, like I have just been really focused on my routines and setting myself up for success and not overscheduling, because I love to do too much. I love to have a packed calendar. I love to like just experience life, which there's nothing wrong with that, until it starts like disintegrating in other areas. And for me, I kind of have like a yo-yo personality at times, where it's like, okay, I'm going to be very strict, strenuous, like I'm going to get all of this complete. I'm going to, you know, make sure that it's all done. I'm going to be a top type A performer. And then there's other times where I like literally cannot do anything on my list. And I've been running myself ragged to the point where it's like, okay, like this is not great. I need to take a little bit of a break. And it's like something I've struggled with a lot, where it's like I just burn myself out and I do too many things, and then I'm like, when am I gonna get a break? But that's just a personal personality flaw, but I'm working on it. Okay, just like little bits at a time, and like working on a better foundation. And I have been succeeding in the past 3 weeks. I think hormones also have a lot to do with it, as in like if I'm like closer to my period, like my motivation is obviously down, and I don't feel like doing all the things that I was doing before, like right before my period. And then when I do get my period, then I'm like, okay, like I'm getting some energy back. Spring also has like a impact on that. When it's like sunny out and longer days, I feel like I can do more. So I'm trying to, you know, just take it in stride. And I know that part of it is because of like my cycle month to month, and on like a couple of weeks, like a few weeks, I'm gonna feel different than the other weeks, and that's okay. And also like it's seasons, like a season for busyness and a season to be more present, and I know that, and that's okay. But I'm just kicking myself, because how could I delete hours of footage, like literally hours, and I had edited 4 hours and I had almost half of it done. I just need like one more day edited and it would have been done. So I apologize, and I'm sorry. So, but yeah, by the time this episode comes out, there should be, vlogs up again. It's been hard, like balancing teacher training for like yoga, and the hours that are put into that, and also keeping a full-time job and podcasting and vlogging. And then I have like a couple other passion projects that I'm working on, one being the Golden Gal Network, and also like I have a few things coming up this summer that I'm so excited, I can't wait to share about. So I'm trying to set myself up for success. I'm trying to put all the pieces in the puzzle and make sure like we're doing a good job. And I will say, like, it's one little blunder, like it's not gonna ruin my whole day. It's just gonna ruin the first little bit of this podcast, okay? But we're moving on, okay? Happy Monday. So glad to be here. So happy to be chatting with you. I love Mondays. I think that it's an excuse for a do-over. Everybody gets a do-over. Everybody gets to move forward and start the week afresh, which I love that, right? We are, heading into a busy week myself of what's new. I feel like I am just like, with things picking up, I'm just like being more conscientious of my calendar and being more conscientious of my time and where I'm spending it. The other night, Garrett and I were talking about what we're doing for our birthdays. Both of us are born in May. We are just a few days apart. I was born May 8th and he was born May 13th, of course, 3 years apart. However, our actual day of birth, anniversary, birthday, whatever you want to call it, is gonna be, they're very close together. So we were just discussing about like our birthdays and how old we're gonna be, which I'm gonna be 26 this year. Thank you very much. And Garrett is gonna be 29. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, like 29 and 26 was also 28 and 25 and 27 and 24 and 26 and 23. Like, and I counted down And I was like, oh my gosh, like that is crazy. It feels like so much time, so many memories have been created, but it also just feels like a blink of an eye. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy insane. And to think we have more years to go, and it's like making me think, wow, this past year has gone by so fast. We did so many things. I want to savor every bit of this year. Like I want to be more mindful and find more pockets of time where I'm like actually enjoying it, and I'm not necessarily like scrolling on my phone or spending time or energy on things that don't bring me life, that don't like fill my cup, and just like reevaluating a couple things. Spring is the perfect time for that because it is like a new beginning, and we have the opportunity to adjust and change before the upcoming season, right? And as I'm thinking about all of this and spring cleaning, which brings me to the peak of my week, I got a new journal. It's really cute. Personally, I think that journals are a great way to feel like I have my life together, to feel like I am on top of my stuff. Sometimes that's true, sometimes it's not. And I wanted to start journaling because I was going through books and I was going through my other journals, and I wish, because there's been times where like perfectionism has gotten the best of me, and I've opened or bought a new journal and I wrote in it and then I forgot about it, and then I'm like, like how annoying, like I have pages that have been started but haven't been finished, and then I want to like cut the pages out and start again. And I was like, you know what, I've got to stop doing that. And like keeping those half-finished journals and maybe coming back to them at some time, but like not throwing them out, even though it feels like so many pages have been wasted. But I think back to what I would do, what I would, I guess not price, but like how much money I would pay to kind of like jump inside the mind of like younger me. And while podcasting is a bit of journaling for me, like I'm talking and my ideas and my thoughts are, like you hear them, right? It's on audio. I do wish that I kept more of a consistent journal and also kept my journals from, when I was in high school. I don't know where they went. And I think a lot of people don't journal because we feel the embarrassment of someone accidentally reading our journal, or at least for me, I feel like there's so much embarrassment, like if someone were to read my journal, see my thoughts, and I have to get over that. Like I've got to get over, like if my journal gets lost or if someone finds it and they read it, like it's kind of preventing me from keeping a consistent journal because they are intimate thoughts. And I feel like it's a great way for your overall mental health to just like get things written down on paper. And also, I love every single person in my life, right? I love my husband, I love my mom, I love my dads, I love my friends, and sharing things with them is great. And I love to chat and I love to process things with them. But I also think sometimes I'm talking to them to complain, right? Like we all do this. We chat with our significant others or our best friends to rant, to rate, like just to complain. And we actually don't want anything from that person, but it's an overall like very draining cycle when you're just like talking, not necessarily to get anything out, just to like complain. And then we can have our feelings hurt by like if whoever we're talking to has an opinion, right? Because why else would we be talking to them if we didn't want their opinion? And it can cause like some tension on, okay, you talked to me about this thing. While I think the question like, do you want advice or you just want for me to listen is so important and so impactful. Sometimes I'm like, why am I bringing this negative energy into a conversation when I've talked about it for the past like 3 weeks? And I think a journal is a really healthy way to get those thoughts and ideas down, and you can journal about it as many times as you want. without like burning out your family members or significant others. I also think that we have the answers inside of us, and whenever we are talking with someone about our problems or talking to someone about different situations, it is good to like help your mind work it out. But usually we know the answer inside of us, and when we're chatting or, you know, complaining to a significant other or a friend or a family member or whatever, it's usually because we just want the validation. And so I'm working really hard not to rely on someone else for my validation or rely on someone else for, you know, to fix my life or to figure out my problems, because it's about me, it's not about them. And I just find that journaling is a great way to do that. So I picked up a journal. I picked it up from Target. It's so pretty. It's navy blue and it has like these embroidered flowers on them. I also think like picking a journal is really important. I always think like futuristically, because ultimately like if my great grandchild picks up this book, great, amazing. They can read about me. They can read about my, you know, thoughts and feelings, and they might find some comfort in that. And I was like, what is going to be like a good vintage notebook for them to like pull open and be like, this is Nana's book, or I don't know what I want to be called when I'm a grandmother, but and to open it up and be like, oh my gosh, like these are my thoughts, these are my feelings. So it's really, really cute. And that also helps for like motivation. If it's a nice little book that you want to use, that you look forward to using. I personally love the Sharpie pens. It has to be a 1.0. It cannot be a 0.7, or I think there's a 0.3. Despicable. Okay, I hate them. It has to be a 1.0 of the Sharpie pens. They're immaculate. They're so good. I use them. I don't have one on me right now, but I use them every time to like write out my podcast segments, and they glide so nicely over the page. So I've been journaling, and it honestly, it's really helped, and also just like to allow me to get my thoughts on paper and be able to look back on it, because I do want to look back on my own journals. And while I have like partial journals, they're not consistent, or I've ripped out pages and literally thrown them away. Like for future Logan, say in 10 years, I want her to be able to like find these stories, because so much of our stories are lost just by like memory or nothing to trigger that memory. And so if I have a journal that I write down like, okay, this happened, even if I don't have the full story, because right now I've just been like setting it for 10 minutes, jotting down some ideas and not beating myself up if it's been a few days since the last time I've journaled. I can see it and be like, oh yeah, I remember this day. Oh yeah, I remember why I wrote this out and what the point of the story was. So that has been fun. That's been great. I hope to stick with this. I don't want it to be just like another journal shoved in my closet, because spring cleaning has been just absolutely insane. And I feel like whenever I do a spring cleaning, I'm not just cleaning out the stuff from the past year, I'm cleaning out stuff from like years prior. I'm like, why did I hold on to this? Like, it has no value to me. It has no like it's not giving me anything. Okay, so yeah, it's an aspiration I have. Meditation has definitely been like one of my needs or wants or priorities, focuses, I guess. It's been my focus for this upcoming year to like meditate. And I think journaling is also, it is a type of meditation. It's just like a writing meditation, just like you have a walking meditation, or a breathing meditation. You can have a writing meditation. And I feel like it has been aiding in my like mental health and my brain just so good. So I'm gonna continue it, and it's going to help me stay consistent, jot down my ideas, jot down my feelings, and also work on my penmanship, because I feel like my penmanship, well, it's okay, could be improved. In school, we wrote all the time, and now I like barely ever write, which is insane. So to better my penmanship and to make me remember ideas and memories for future me. So that's the peak. I'm very excited, and it's great. Let's get into the pit of the week. Now, I went to a little gals gathering, okay, We went to a little pub. It was very fun. Okay. St. Patrick's Day is just around the corner. Is it the 19th this year? I can't remember when St. Patrick's Day is. Personally, I'm not Irish, so it's not really my holiday. While I like green things, I don't really, it's not something I participate in. So it's March 17th, which I always get this confused because my brother David's birthday is March 18th. So it's either like on that day, the day after, like whenever. So St. Patrick's Day is around the corner. I love, actually, no, when this episode goes out, it will be past St. Patrick's Day. But I personally I don't really celebrate that much. So it's out of the ordinary for me to like go to this Irish pub and hang out with my friends because it was like a very Irish theme St. Patrick's Day celebration. I wore green. Okay. I got fish and chips, although they had like bangers and mash. And the parking garage was absolutely minuscule. Okay, it was so tiny. So I drive like a pickup. It's an F-150. It's not very big. It's not lifted. It's not any of those things. It also doesn't turn the best. I don't know why. Like it turns fine, but it's not like a on the dime turn. Okay. So I get to the location and I'm like, all right, like we're gonna go and we're gonna grab something to eat. So when I there's parking above, right? Like there's parking in the little square, but all the spots are filled and it's on the corner in Kansas City. It's called Brady and Fox. So I'm like, all right, like we're gonna go down into the parking garage. Except for this was like a mini parking garage. And each of the spots, like it was a one way, it was literally one floor. And to turn, they have like the pillars, the weight, or what is it called? A weight bearing pillar. So the pillars are in there. And I'm like, okay, all of those are full. I can't fit. I'm not going to be able to fit. The height is not the problem. It's the turning and it's the distance. It was a very tight corner. So I knew that I had to be careful. Personally, I've driven a pickup, not a vehicle. Oh my gosh. I've driven a pickup my entire life. There was only like a 2-month period. I had a little HHR. It was amazing. It was great. I loved it. We're coming up on her anniversary since Easter. It's early this year. She was stolen out of my driveway and lit on fire. That's a story for another day. So sad. But it was like a 2-month stint. I had an HHR. It was great. I loved her. I've always driven a pickup. I've always felt confident with myself driving a pickup, okay? Because I don't know any better. I don't know any different. So I take the corner slow. I'm going slow. And there's like a little railing, right? Because usually you can like walk up the stairs, go out a door for the pedestrians. And I'm like going around and it's like jutted out, so annoying. And so I'm worried that I'm gonna like scrape my front. So I need to back up just a little bit, but it is so tight. It is the tightest squeeze I've ever seen in my freaking life. And so this is quite annoying. I go to back up. I use my mirrors, okay? I don't just use like my back little camera. I use my head's on a swivel, okay? So I go to back up and I see that the pillar has like, not only is it like a block, but then it has like an extra 2 inches out on the top. So it's definitely like your typical like pillar. If you think of like a Roman pillar where it's like got the swirls on the like top and bottom, it's like a little jutted out in comparison to like the actual pillar. That's how this one was, except for it wasn't like curly, okay? It was just a block. That block, okay, I go to readjust. I'm trying not to hit the front. I'm a competent driver, okay, a competent parker. And I go back up a little bit and I see as I'm like cranking my wheel, it just puts a little bit of pressure on my passenger back mirror. Back window, not mirror. I can see it in my mirror. It's like pushing on the glass a little. I'm like, I'm going to bust my glass. That is frightful, okay? I'm literally like, I cannot wreck my vehicle. I had a long night. Like I was gonna go this, I was gonna go out with my friends. I cannot have a busted out back glass, it's not the back, okay, it's the passenger side. I cannot shatter this glass and then go on with my evening like somebody's gonna hop in my vehicle. I had like 2 blankets in there, little to no value, right? But I have other things, like I have my lip gloss, I have my Stanley, like nothing like too dire. Like if it was stolen, it would have been okay. But what if they hotwired my vehicle and stole it? Okay, like I need to be able to drive home. So as soon as it like was pressing on this glass, it was like bowing just a tad. I was like, crap. So I pulled forward a little bit. I was like, oh, I have to be extra careful. My brain was working on overdrive to figure out how to like pull forward without smashing the front and without like busting my back glass. This is not driver error. Okay, nothing I did was wrong. I just want to make that very, very clear. And I like slowly and softly like maneuver it forward. I will say, when I was a very, very early driver, I had gotten in a spot where I had the pickup and I had a cattle trailer on the back, and it was so muddy. I was like trying to get the trailer out. I had set up some cattle panels. If you don't know this about me, I grew up on a farm. I live on a farm. So we had like these portable panels, and we were going to catch the cows and haul them to a different pasture with, you know, more grass. So I take the trailer and it's down like on this hill, and I set up the corral and I was about to leave, and the truck had very little traction, and at this time there was something wrong with the truck, so it couldn't accelerate that quick. But it was no big deal because it was just on the farm. Like we weren't going to be like driving it anywhere important. So it was fine for like very local driving. So I went to like go up the hill, and I slid down, and I kept trying to like maneuver and get up this hill, and I had jackknifed the pickup, and the trailer top had busted the back glass. Oh my gosh, that actually was embarrassing. So, but there's really nothing I could have done. I was literally in the tightest spot, could not move forward, could not move backward. I was just like stuck. So I will say I've learned from that experience, right? Like I was too aggressive on the moment. I was like trying to like wiggle it, trying to move it up. And I will say, you never know when something that you've learned in the past will come to fruition in the future, right? I had learned to go slow and like take a second, like, and maybe it's because my frontal lobe has completely developed, but in the moment I was like, okay, how can I like just quickly, I need to like ram it up this hill, I need to like find the traction. And then when I slid and like popped out the back glass, which was unfortunate because at this time, this was like my daily driver. It had like 3 sections of back glass, so you could like open the like middle pane when you were like driving down gravel roads. Like we did this in high school, you know, to have extra airflow. And it got replaced with a solid back glass. It was very sad. It was like the worst day of my life. No, it was fine. Honestly, I like called my dad and I was like, I just broke the back glass out of the pickup. I'm stuck. I can't get it out. I need you to come get me. By the time he was like, well, it's going to be 30 minutes. I was like, I'll keep trying. I'll call you if I need you to actually come, but please plan and come and pick me up, right? I ended up getting out of there. We got it replaced, no big deal. And I just like had that flashback when I'm like trying to park my vehicle in this little parking garage. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like I'm late, right? Like, and so there's this panic. I gotta find a parking spot. I gotta like inch my way in here. And I literally had to take a second. I had to take like a deep breath and be like, we are okay. Okay, like we are fine. What's gonna be another like couple minutes? Let's do this slow. Let's back it up. Let's slowly move forward, right? And I ended up being able to park fine. I got out of that like very sticky and tight turn. And when I like sat in the vehicle, like fully parked, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like I did it, like at least I did it, but I was so stressed. I was so stressed, and I was like, this is so dumb to be stressed about. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that Golden Hour Drip has a weekly newsletter that comes out. This has bonus content, weekly updates, and future event information. If you haven't already, go down to the show notes, click the link, and join today. Now, back to the show. I just kept thinking to myself, this is so dumb. I'm just a girl. It's fine. And I honestly, like, I hate driving in general. I don't enjoy it. And so for me to like be so stressed, and I know it sounds dumb. Okay, I get it. Like, I'm a competent girl. Like, I can do things. And I was just so frustrated in the moment because my truck didn't turn and the parking garage was so small and I was already late and all these things are running through my head. And right then and there I was like, all right, I need to start shopping for a new vehicle because I couldn't take it. I was like, and I've loved my vehicle for a very long time. I've had it for two years now. I think it's been 2 years. Maybe I don't know. But I'm like, okay, maybe I need to start like shopping around. Not anytime soon, but maybe I need to start like looking for a new vehicle. So that was traumatic. It was fine. Then come to find out. So I sit down for lunch or supper, whatever, with my friends, and we were all chatting. And one of the girls, I did not bring up my predicament, okay, because I feel like I had talked too much in the conversation already. I didn't want to make it about me. I know that sounds like so self-centered, but I have to try so hard to regulate how much I dominate a conversation, because for me, when someone is talking to me, I always think, okay, like, how can I add to this conversation? How can I like make them feel valid? How can I, make sure that they know that I'm relating to them or that they feel supported? So if they bring up like an experience or situation where it's like, last week I went and took my dog to the vet. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I have a dog too. My dog's name are Rooster and Rowdy. That's like a dumb example. But it's like anything that someone else says, I automatically start thinking on what I'm gonna say. And I think it just stems to like me not wanting to sound dumb or uninterested, because ultimately, like, I want them to know that I'm listening to their conversation, and I want to share to show, hey, like, I've taken notes. I blame this on the public school system, because I feel like every single or even college too, but like in class it'd be like, okay, like, this is what is said, what did you learn from the material? And so for me, I'm like, I learned this is like what else I can relate to. And like all of the, like, what was it called? It was like a forum where you had to do like discussion questions. That's what it's called. So you have your discussion questions, and then you're supposed to like comment on like 3 classmates' discussion questions and like say how you relate to it, essentially. So it's just ingrained in my brain, like, okay, if like someone says something, like I need to say something back. How can I show them that I was listening? And I like have to catch myself and just like fully absorb what they're saying. And sometimes I like try to just like repeat back to what they said, as in like if they share a story, I'll be like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe you XYZ, whatever detail in that story. And then I pause, and like if they want to continue, great. If they like ask me a question like, oh, like, have you ever done that? Then I say, yeah, like, then I add in my own take. But I try so hard not to be like over dominate a conversation or act like a know-it-all, because in school I was always the first person to like raise my hand. I have the answer. I'm paying attention. Give me a gold star, right? And so I've been like moderating myself for years, just trying to think, absorb what the person is saying. You don't have to add like your own story. And also, I feel like sometimes people don't deserve to know you in a way that like they, like if you share something, like oversharing, right? Like, although I talk on a podcast every single week, I really try to ask myself, like, am I sharing this because it's, relevant to to the conversation, to the story, or am I sharing this to feel validated in myself? Like, oh, look at me, you know? So I always try to ask myself, like, why am I adding this to the story? And so when I was brought up, one of the gals, she was like, oh, I got my windshield cracked, and I wasn't gonna do anything about it. And then I swear, guys, like, I did not mention any of like my things that I experienced in the parking garage, like almost a meltdown. And as I was like sitting there, she was like, yeah, I was driving my vehicle, I had a rock chip, and you know, like my significant other, her fiance was like, you should get that checked. And she's like, and my future mother-in-law, or maybe it was her mom, was like, you should get that checked, you should get that fixed immediately. And she's like, so now I'm getting it fixed immediately, but I was just gonna like drive around with it. I don't see what the big deal is until it like spiders out. And I was like, that is so true. Like, how many times do we just like get the pressure from other people in regards to what we should be doing? But she was like, and I get it, okay, windshields, like once you have glass that has been compromised, like it is easier to break on you. I get that. But she was like, I wasn't gonna get it immediately. Like, I was gonna wait a couple days. Like, I was gonna, you know, wait for it to be, you know, really bad, like where it's spider or something. Like, my insurance isn't gonna cover it because my deductible is too high, or like any of those things. So I was like, oh, like, understand, like I get that completely. Vehicles are just dumb, right? And so she was mentioning that, and then another girl was like, oh, I relate, I have a nail in my tire right now. And I was like, oh my gosh. She was like, yeah, I went and took it to the shop just for the nail being in the tire, and they were like, yep, like we can do this for you. And then when they like picked her vehicle up on the lift or whatever, they were like, oh, like actually your alignment is off too, so if we just try to patch this, like we're gonna have to do more. And she ultimately, like, she didn't have time for that, so she's like, you know what, like, thank you, but I have to go, I'm just gonna drive on it, and like if something comes from that, like I'll deal with it in that moment. And I was like, okay, you go, girl. Like, if you have a nail in your tire and it's like a little, you know, a little bad, that's fine, that's on you. Your choice, your decision. And I was like, really and truly, like, we were just out here trying to drive our vehicles and make it. But I had to laugh because it was like, how, like, that is girlhood. Like, just, I have a crack in my windshield, like I have to get it replaced, I don't really want to, or I have a nail in my tire, I'm just gonna drive on it, or me like trying to figure out how to get through a parking garage. I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, it's dumb, but it's like a shared experience for sure. And later that night, I haven't been out like for quite some time. I've just been like working so much and like going to training, and also it being winter, like I haven't actually had like a night out for a very long time. And so a friend had invited me to a concert. We went, it was maybe amazing. It was so much fun. It was like a little, I guess it was a performance. I don't know if you could call it a concert. It wasn't a concert at all. It was a performance at a bar. And I was like, yes, I would love to go. So we went, and I don't know, it's been so long since I've just like kind of had impromptu plans. She had invited me like 2 or 3 days before the event. I was like, yes, absolutely, like I will go. She was supposed to go with her husband, and then he ended up having like to work or something. I was like, yes, I will go. Like, I am trying to be conscientious with my experiences and the things that I'm doing, but I'm gonna say yes when I can say yes. Like, if I want to have a night in, I'm gonna have that night in. But if I have the opportunity to say, yes, I can go, I want to go. If I wouldn't be going, I would just be going home, right? So I said yes. And honestly, it was so good. We went and saw, the opener was Wilderness, which was really good. Never heard them before. And then the main was Hembree. It was so good. Kansas City, Origin, right? It's Hembree, I think. Also very, very good. I had a great time. But talking about like shared experiences, So in between the opener and the main, I need to run to the restroom, right? Like, this is what you do. So my friend, I left her, I said, hey, I'll be right back. I left, I went to the bathroom. Bathroom line was so long. And guess what? The men's bathroom had one person go in and come out. Like, so annoying, okay? The girls will never have enough stalls. It will always be a line, and it's just so frustrating. So that's whatever. But as I'm standing in line, someone's like, I love your top. And then we got to talk about clothes and going out. And another girl was like, she had her top on. Someone's like, I love your top. She goes, thanks. You know, her breasts were out. She's like, don't tell my mom. You know, it was just like such a funny thing. She's like, yes, I know it's like a little revealing, but like, you know what? Like, I just want to feel good about myself. Don't tell my mom. Like, it was just such a funny, like, shared experience of talking about your clothes and like going to the bathroom and it always being a line. Like, what more can you do than make friends with your neighbor, right? To strike up a conversation. And I love that. And then when I'm like trying to get back, it's packed. Like, people are pouring in for this performance. And I was like, all right, like, I'm gonna get to my friend who's up front. We were up front. And I do hate this. I hate it when people like save spots for people who aren't there, and then like they try to bring like a million people to the front. Like, I do hate that. The only thing is I had to pee. Like, I'd been there. Like, we got there early. We got there right at 8, and I was there. I had to use the restroom. It was one person. So I'm like trying to make my way, and people are pouring in. And a woman sees me, and she had been there the entire time we had been there. She sees me, my friend does not see me yet. And she looks at me, and there's like 3 or 4 people, like kind of in between us. And she goes, hey, reaches out her arm. I take it, right? Like, cause she's looking at me, I'm looking at her. I take her arm, she pulls me through this like area. She's standing, right? Long arms, right? Like nice long arms. Pulls me, and she goes, hey, like, glad you made it back. I literally wanted to cry. I was like, what a sweet woman. She's like, hey, like, glad that you made it back. Pulled me to where my friend was. My friend turned around. I was like, oh, it's so busy. Thank you. Like, I said, thank you so much to the woman, because it, like, if your friend doesn't see you and like pull you to the front, then like sometimes you don't get, like, you get battered around. Like, it's not like a smooth process. And she just like pulled me, and I was like, that is so kind. Thank you. Like, thank you so much. She didn't have to do that. I feel like some people going to performances or concerts literally lose all sort of respect or kindness for one another. They're like pushing and like, oh, like, you can't stand here, don't spill your beer on me, right? Like, it can be like a very negative experience. And this woman was like, oh, like, you went to the restroom. I know that you went to the restroom. You came back. Like, I'm gonna let you have your spot, and I'm gonna help you get to it. And I was like, thank you. Like, women supporting women, I can't, there's nothing better than that, okay? Nothing better than just like being there for one another and having the shared experience of being a girl. I love it. And I hoped that, and I know that if I was like in the same situation, I would have done the same. I would have like pulled her to the front. And also, touching a stranger is not in a gross way and not in like a dirty way. Like, I don't like dirty hands. I don't like snot. I don't like sneezing or coughing or anything like that. But to have that like care from a stranger, and holding hands is so intimate. Whenever I get my nails done, I'm like, this person is literally holding my hands. Like, we're holding hands. Like, to hold a stranger's hand is just like a crazy experience too. Or I don't know. It was great though. I had so much fun, and it made me think, oh, like, I could do this more often. And then I went to bed and woke up, and I was immediately exhausted. I was like, this is why I don't go out, because I do not have the stamina to be out until midnight and then come home, which midnight is like early. To arrive at my home by midnight, like, I left the party early, okay? Again, the performance was done. I made it back, and I was like, okay, like, this is fun, this is great, this is amazing. But like, I'm tired. I will say, the next morning was a great morning because I finished my puzzle. I'm so excited. I have been working on this New York puzzle. Okay, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen me post about it. I'm gonna pull it up on Amazon so I can show you what it is. Okay, literally had to pause the show. I just got so choked up and I had a massive coughing fit. So embarrassing. I was like choking. I don't know what happened. I was just speaking like a regular person and all of a sudden like my lungs collapsed. There was nothing inside, no air to breathe. Okay, I found it. I finished my puzzle. I was so excited. It's called the Galison-Michael, where is it? I clicked on it to like expand it. The Galison-Michael Storings Times Square 1000 piece puzzle. It's beautiful, it's stunning. I got like the top part done fairly quickly, I will say, in comparison to the bottom. The people took the longest time. I also do not look at the box. That's like very important to me. I want to have my brain piece it together. Last week, I think I talked about how I was seeing puzzle pieces in my dreams or every time I close my eyes. I finally got sick of this puzzle. Okay, like the more I looked at it, the more I thought, oh my gosh, like when am I gonna get done? It was beautiful. A couple of the people, because it was like a painting almost, like a very abstract, but still like New York City, like Times Square, beautiful, stunning, immaculate. I was like looking at the people and I was like, how do these people fit together? It was so frustrating. It was a fun puzzle. It kept my attention for a month. I worked on it when I drank my coffee and the pressure was really on because we have company coming. So I'm going to be able to eat at the dining room table, which is the only downfall of having a puzzle because it's out at all times. It's out until you finish it. And for me, the purpose of a puzzle is to be like a leisure activity. It's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be soft. It's not supposed to be like this high performance activity that you have to complete by a certain time period. A lot of the things in my life are so like specific for deadlines or having to get done a specific time, a specific whatever. And for me to just like be pretty leisurely with it, work on it for 5 minutes or work on it for an hour. Honestly, this past Sunday, I worked on it for like 2 hours, no lie. I'd watched a movie the entire time just for background noise, but I was like piecing my puzzle together. There's some really, really tough places, but the morning after I was tired and it's a great like to get integrated into your day, right? Like I'm drinking my coffee, I'm piecing together my puzzle, I'm coming alive, I'm coming to terms with things. And something that yoga has taught me is when we are like in the work, when we're doing like the postures and we're doing each of the sequence and we're going through it and we're working hard, right? Like we are going into each very specific, like structured posture. At the very end, we get to go into a calm time. Like it's Shavasana. We are laying on the floor. You are not disciplining your breath. You are not disciplining your breath at all. You're just breathing normally. Okay, we just did so much work and you get to lay there. And sometimes like it is such like a deep meditation for me, even if it is like a short time, it's like 3 or 4 minutes. Like you get to close down your eyes. You're out of breath usually, so you're like, okay, gotta breathe, gotta do all the things. And what I love is when your instructor is like, okay, when you're ready, start wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers. And I've been trying to do that in my morning routine. It's such like a polite way to wake yourself up as I'm like snoozing in bed and you know, my alarm goes off. It's like a very abrupt thing. That's why I would love to look into the little alarm clock, the Hatch alarm clock, where it just like starts brightening up your room. And I finally feel like on track with this like daylight savings time. Like last week was pretty rough. This week I'm feeling good. And for it to be like, okay, a gentle wake up, like wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, like come back, I feel like doing a puzzle is like in the same way. Like, it's like a small integration. Like, I'm not on my phone. I'm not being bombarded with emails or with text or DMs or anything. I'm wiggling my fingers, wiggling my toes. I'm starting to get integrated into my day, and I'm able to be present, and have my brain working, but not in that aspect where it's like this stressful thing where I'm like, I have to get it completed. I have to get it done. So for that, it's been a great like morning routine segment. And I can't wait to look for my new one. Now, since our, guests have come and gone now, like it is probably time where I can get another puzzle out. I left the finished puzzle on our table for 2 days though. I just like left it on the table and looked at it finished. I was like, this was so much work. This was so hard. I am so glad it's done. And just to look at it and then like breaking it apart, I will say like the one I bought on Amazon, the pieces, like I found one broken piece or one like actual, like there's a piece broken off the back of like the back cardboard. Some of the pieces were like a little bent. I was so gentle in breaking it apart. It was like snap, snap. And it was such like a sad thing. I was like, goodbye, puzzle piece. I will see you in the future, when I've forgotten about it like a year or two from now. And I'm like, oh, like I need to revisit that puzzle. If anybody has any cool puzzles, wants to do a little puzzle swap, let me know. I'd be so interested in that. And I don't want my puzzles to just like waste away in the storage. Because again, like spring cleaning, like if we're not using it, it needs to go. And the next puzzle, I'm gonna try and purchase like more high quality puzzle. I thought this puzzle was pretty high quality. I mean, it was like $20. Maybe I need to go more, but I don't want to spend that much more on a puzzle, you know? I also want all of my puzzles to be handpicked by me, right? Like I am searching and finding, because I'm going to spend a lot of time with this puzzle. It's going to be multiple weeks where I'm piecing it together. So I'll let you know when I find the next one, because I feel like the first puzzle I finished as an adult is so good, and it's also just like so bittersweet. I can say for sure that this is a habit that is easy to continue on with. So finished my puzzle, so bittersweet, so kind, so awesome. I will say one of my coffee mugs cracked in the dishwasher, and that has made me abruptly sad, because I had these like clear glasses. You might have seen it on my Instagram story. I like post my coffees every once in a while. Like I've been getting the perfect foam, or maybe you've seen on like a vlog that I've actually posted, not like the weeks where no vlog has been posted. Maybe I just need to start with like one a week, because that's what I did for the podcast. It was like one a week. I want to do like 2 a week. Like I want to be dropping them. I need to go back to the basics. Okay, I need to remind myself of the episode like 3 weeks ago, I guess, back to the basics. I just need to simplify it down. But I had one of my glass mugs, and I saw a crack like by the handle, and I was immediately like so sad, because I found these mugs and they work perfect. They're so beautiful in our pantry, and now I'm gonna have a set of 3. I tried to find online like a replacement, but I picked these up from Marshall's. And this is the bad thing about shopping at a TJ Maxx, a Home Goods, or Marshall's. You cannot be for sure that you're going to be able to find that product again for a replacement. So like for me, I'm just so sad. Like this chair that I purchased, we are still going strong with it. I guess it'll do for now, even though it doesn't have any arm stands if you are watching on YouTube. But like if I want to find a matching chair from, like I picked this up from TJ Maxx, I will not be able to find a matching chair. Like I will never, like I'll try, I'll look for one, but I only bought one. And if you don't buy it in a pair, if you don't buy the second one that day, the chance of you finding another one is so minuscule, so small. And so I'm like looking at these mugs that were literally perfect and now have a crack in them. That just goes to show that I need to not use my dishwasher for delicate cups and glasses. But if it is hand wash only, I cannot get behind it, okay? I need to be able to put it in the dishwasher. I want to be able to forget about it, or like if I'm in a rush or doing things, because if you want to keep a routine, if you want to keep things on track, you have to have it simplified. You have to have it in a way that is so easy, it would be harder to avoid it. And so for me, like doing the dishes, the dishes stack up when it can't fit in the dishwasher, but when everything can fit in the dishwasher, I put that dishwasher fluid in it and we are ready to rock and roll, okay? I'll put it together when I'm waiting for my eggs to cook the next day. The only caveat to this is like the really, like the electric griddle can't go in there, but like that's fine. Like that's one thing. Pans, glasses, like they should all be able to go in the dishwasher. So I was just a little sad about that. And I want to like have higher quality things in my home so that I don't have to continuously have this cycle of like having it only for a couple months and then throwing it away, like with my puzzle or like with these little coffee mugs. And granted, like I probably for a while until like another one breaks, which I hope it doesn't break. I will be so sad if it breaks. But to kind of like keep them for a long time. I don't want to have to continuously like replace things. And I feel like some parts of my clothing I like bought last year or I bought this past fall and the quality is just like so low that it's already kind of fallen apart. And I'm like, it's already falling apart. Like I'm gonna have to replace it. Like I'm gonna have to buy a new one and get rid of this one. Like if it's damaged, like now I can't, like I'm not gonna put it in a Goodwill bag. I'm not gonna put it in like any sort of, Salvation Army pickup, because if I don't want to wear it, if something's wrong, like actually wrong with the quality, if it's falling apart, like I have to throw it away. So I've just been like taking a more conscientious approach to the things that I'm purchasing and the things that I'm incorporating into our household, as we all should, right? As I was cleaning out my closet, I like pulled out like 2 yoga mats that I had purchased and the quality just like wasn't what I was looking for. I like slipped around on it a lot, and I just think back to it, I'm like, if I only knew when I first purchased these that like it wouldn't be a long-term thing. There's nothing wrong with these mats, like I will donate them, but like they're just not good for me because I sweat so much, because I am doing like an active situation. I don't know, like it just frustrates me. And for the quality of things, like this glass is like thinner and I should have probably hand washed it, but it's like, come on, why you gotta crack on me? Why you gotta do that? So I'm just being intentional with my time, intentional with how I'm spending my money. Can you say like in this economy, oh my gosh, like I feel like whenever things are going good, when people have like a surplus of disposable income, like they don't think about these things. And now I'm just like kind of reverting into like an elder, like my grandparents or my parents. When times are tough, like you get more minuscule about your time and how you're spending it, how you're spending your money, how you're like organizing your house. And like I'm thinking all those things. I'm like, how can we be more conscientious? How can we be more conservative with our things? And that's just me, okay? These are the things that go through my head daily. I can feel another cough coming on, so apologies. But I'm really happy to be halfway through March. Okay, I'm happy to be halfway through March. I feel like things are coming together for me. As much as I like struggle with it, I do like when I look back or when I do look at like my closet or my puzzle or how I'm spending my mornings, how I'm spending my evenings, like things are slowly coming together. And it's just like a graft, right? Like back in school, when you're grafting the points, you're like, okay, like I have this one dot at A10 and the next dot is at B19. You can't see it like going up and progressively getting better until like you zoom out and look at the entire picture. And I feel like that's where I'm at. I feel like I need to finally zoom out. Actually, I can't yet. Like I can't zoom out until the time comes, until the things align themselves in the way that they need to be aligned. Like I won't be able to like zoom out. But I'm keeping that in perspective. Everything is coming together for me. Everything is coming together for you. I mean, why else would you be listening to the Golden Hour Drip? Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it. And be sure to rate, review, subscribe, all the things. I love to see you guys interact with the pod. Sign up for our newsletter. That is one of the big projects coming. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.